Alright, we have another solve the equation 36x squared minus 25 is equal to 0. It's a quadratic, we recognize, because of the x squared. So we're going to use the little four-step process that we've looked at in order to solve this. Put the equation in this form, set it equal to 0. Well, it's already set equal to 0. The only difference you'll notice is that our equation up here doesn't have a x term. The bx is missing. But it's a quadratic and it's set equal to 0. So then the next thing we do is we try to factor that left side. So in order to factor the left side, let's rewrite the problem down here. We have to look at this polynomial. It's not a trinomial, it's a binomial. And it's a special kind of binomial. It's one of these difference of squares. This first term is a perfect square because 36 you can take the square root of that and get a whole number. And same with 25. You can take the square root of 25 and you get a whole number. So those are perfect squares, which means with this guy right here is an example of a difference of squares. Sometimes it's called a difference of two squares. And you factor a difference of squares by putting down your binomial times your binomial. You ask yourself, what do I square to get this guy? Well, 6 squared will give us the 36. So we put a 6 here. And we also know that if you take x and you square x, you're going to get x squared. So 6x goes there and goes here. Because remember, if you're foiling, 6x times 6x will give you 36x squared. Now with the difference of squares, when you factor it, the signs have to be different. 1 plus, 1 minus. It doesn't matter which one comes first. Then you look at 25. Well, the square root of 25 is 5. In other words, 5 times 5 gives you 25, or 5 squared is 25. So we put 1 5 there and 1 5 there. And still an equation, so it's still equal to 0. And remember, if you don't believe me, check this by foiling. 6x times 6x is 36x squared, plus 5 times minus 5 is a negative 25. And the middle terms here, this is going to give you a positive 30x, and this is going to give you a negative 30x. And those guys go away, so you don't have an x term. So just making sure that you see how that factors. So let's go back and look at the problem now that it's factored. The next step in our process is you set each one of these factors equal to 0. 6x plus 5, set that guy equal to 0. And 6x minus 5, set that one equal to 0. And lastly, you just solve each of these little equations. You can solve this one by subtracting 5 from both sides, getting 6x is equal to a negative 5. Divide both sides by 6, and you get x is equal to a negative 5 over 6. And over here we do the same thing. Let me make sure you can see that when it's done. Here we add 5 to both sides, so we get 6x is equal to a positive 5. Just divide both sides by 6, and you get x is equal to a positive 5/6. So those are your two solutions.